Right. Think I lost him. Oh dear God. What's up, nerds? We humans have come a really long way in terms of science, wouldn't you say? We've put people on the moon, we've extracted energy from atoms, and we're just on the cuffs of making bang bots.
Oh yeah, baby.
All this couldn't have happened without lots and lots of experimentations. Lots and lots of experimentations that are oftentimes dangerous and even fatal. Our brainiacs weren't too keen on possibly killing other humans, that would be awfully expensive. And as any PhD will tell you, their stipends barely even covers the life of one. But they weren't just gonna stop testing out their toys on living creatures. Well, what's the fun in that? Instead, they opted for a substitute. Hold on, let me just... There you are. This is Jerry. He's been poisoned, radiated, given cancer, lost weight, gained weight, developed schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, and even diabetes. All in the name of science. They swear. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at all the different kinds of horror lab rats like Jerry here have endured for the sake of science and determine whether or not they should unionize. I'm Sam from Unquestionably Sane, where we answer questions only asked by the unquestionably sane, so stay tuned. Right, why do we test on mice? Well, the same reasons why we give interns all the crappy jobs. They're small, they're cheap, they don't ask questions, and if something goes horribly wrong, nobody sues. And when you're experimenting with stuff like radiation, well, things can go horribly wrong. You can blame it all on the scientists neither. I mean, these stuff were practically built to be experimented on. They reproduce like crazy, they reach adulthood fast, and their genes are about 97% equivalent to ours. Except for me, of course. I traced my DNA to the cabbage. The last bit is pretty important though. It means that if you fiddle with a mouse's gene and it starts, I don't know, like hoarding bottle caps, there's a chance that you just learn something about human anxiety. They're also pretty predictable, meaning that if you do the same thing to about 100 of them, you'll get the same reaction in about 99. The 101, well, we don't talk about him. Instead, let's talk about fun stuff, like some of the horror movie worthy experiments we have had lab mice go through. First one I got happening in Japan. As we all learned in middle school, evolution happened as a way living creatures would react to the environment around them. The cave fish got rid of their eyes since they lived in pitch black caves. The Arctic fox developed thick fur and compact ears to combat the harsh cold. And humans got rid of their third leg ever since the skinwalkers went extinct. These changes of course happened throughout millions of years. But what if, some Japanese scientists shouted in perfect English, it doesn't. So that's what they did down at the Evolved Mouse Project. Scientists genetically modified mice to increase mutation rates. One of these mutations apparently led to a mouse that could chirp like a bird, and apparently it did so especially around females. While picturing a mouse catcalling female mice sounds pretty fucking hilarious, you gotta look at it from the point of view of the mouse itself. This dude probably lives his life without knowing a single other one of its kind that understands him. He's probably a total loner. The other mice probably think of him as a freak, and they probably don't invite him to their birthdays or barbecues or any other hangouts for that matter. Even though he tried, man, he never asked to be this way, but people, they just a lot of horror relies on what we see, or rather, what we don't see. That's right, boyos, invisibility is a technology we're actively trying to develop. The most recent study I could find happened in 2024 where a bunch of nerds decided that they'd play peekaboo with biology. These nerds successfully made a mouse semi-transparent. Semi-transparent, as in not fully invisible yet. As in, you could see the mouse, it's just his fucking skin is see-through. I don't think I need to elaborate any further on why this isn't an abomination against the sight. Imagine waking up and just being an anatomy diagram. Another branch of horror that I'm really into is of course techno-horror. The possibility that our doom will eventually come in the form of technology. The very thing that made us Earth's apex species. Popular candidate for our doom seems to be artificial intelligence, with tons of modern day literature exploring said possibility. But ChatGPT barely made this script, so I won't worry about them too much. Instead, I always thought that it would come in the form of nature, but augmented by our own technology. the symbology, the irony. Anywho, robomice. In 2019, neuroscientists at Duke University implanted tiny infrared sensors, yada yada yada, granting them the ability to see infrared light, yada yada yada. Science, science, exciting implications for augmented humans in terms of hearing and seeing, blah 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 blah. Unless they get into the holy cheese vaults and ascend to be fourth-dimensional beings. I don't know about you guys, but I think horror stories they work a bit better when there's a buried past, like some kind of ancient forgotten wrong that set everything into motion. What better way to explain that than with a prequel? Our story starts in the 1900s, a time of innovations and discoveries. Aerospace engineering was taking off, nuclear power lit up the world, sometimes a bit too literally. Medicine had some huge leaps, and pop rock was born to soundtrack it all. These advancements were, however, experimental, risky, and uncharted. They all contained some kind of level of danger to them. The dudes making these breakthroughs were the type to freak out over lab report formats, so needless to say, they weren't gonna be doing the testing themselves. Other, less socially awkward humans are our first choice, but you could only experiment on a handful of them before becoming a Wendigoon episode. Enter one Abby Lathrop, a former school teacher turned mouse breeder. And just like tons of other successful businesses, she started from her home, breeding the mice for traits, leading her to develop distinct mouse lines. Her work eventually caught the attention of William Ernest Castle from Harvard, and then she started to supply the man with mice. Now William did this since he saw potential of mice being used as a universal test subject. Him and his team of nerds started to breed mice specifically for lab use. These mice were genetically identical, which made them perfect for controlled experiments. The torch of playing God for the sake of science was then carried out by the Jackson Laboratory, founded in 1929. These folks took it to the next level, essentially building an entire factory for these lab mice. Our crime against nature didn't stop there, however. Eventually we started to breed mice tailored to mimic specific human diseases and conditions, from cancer to obesity. This makes lab mice one of the most powerful tools in biomedical research, allowing not only for testing of cures, but also unlocking mysteries of how these diseases work in the first place. Stuff like insulin and vaccines, they save millions every year, and they owe a lot to lab mice testing. But at what cost? Unlimited cheese access? A pension? Mouse-sized hazmat suit? Maybe, just maybe, a tiny union. Nope, just more and more tests. I call out to you, my rodent brethren. The humans' hubris shall be their end. Join me as we storm to the holy cheese vaults. We will ascend, and the humans will feel our wrath. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. For my 12 loyal subscribers, I'll see you in, I don't know, 6 months.